Now, Justin, it's been a toasty start to the month of October, and that can wreak havoc on our allergies as that warm weather kind of allows the allergens to really spruce up. So fall allergy season certainly fully in effect here now in Houston. And you've got some data from this year to compare to last year in a story you've been working on. What did you discover?
Well, it feels more like Ogtober instead of October. I know that's a big knee slapper. But
right.
So basically, I spoke with someone at Ballard College of Medicine, and he informed me that over the last 10 years, since the city of Houston has been recording daily, or at least week daily, those pollen counts, those counts have gone up drastically in the last 10 years.
Well, I feel it for sure.
Oh, for sure. My eyes are itchy and watery. He does say, if you're new to Houston, like myself, it can take 4 to 5 years to kind of get fully acquainted to the pollen.
Wow, that is fascinating. So what other interesting headlines came out of that conversation?
I think the biggest thing that came out of that conversation is the fact that pollen counts have doubled over the last 10 years. And it's, not really much of a shock when you're talking about how temperatures have changed over the course of the last, 30 years and certainly beyond. Climate change. A warming world does mean pollen seasons tend to last longer. Our growing season here never really officially ends.
Right, so we're seeing one season expand, and that's summer, and the other 3 seasons are basically shrinking is what's happening. And so that's a great point about the growing season. But also you said that there was some surprising stuff you found out about when it comes to the mold spores, not just like the weeds and the grasses and the tree pollens.
Exactly. So those mold spores, especially during the summer months, warm, humid, that moisture that's in the air, ever present here in Southeast Texas, those mold counts are actually extending into what you would think would be cooler, drier, less humid weather during the fall. So mold counts are increasing in the fall months. So if you're a sufferer of mold pollen or mold, for instance, you're likely dealing with that deeper into fall than maybe you were doing, 10 or 20 years ago.
Yeah, and mold really likes that high humidity, right? So when we get these drier weather, that can help out a little bit. So one thing I guess we like to look at when it comes to the seasonal allergy prediction, how bad it's going to be, is what are the monthly and seasonal temperature outlooks and the rain outlooks doing?
Well, it may be a little bit of an October through the rest of the month here as temperatures look to stay above normal. And not just us here in Houston. I mean, at least, misery loves company, right? Yeah. Much of the western half of the country above normal. Now, this particular outlook doesn't show how far above normal, but it does show, greater confidence in above normal temperatures along and west, basically of a line from North Dakota to Texas. Below normal for much of the country in terms of rainfall or precipitation. This time of the year we start talking about some mountain snows. Not here, obviously, but below normal precipitation for much of the country, including us right here in Texas, which could be a problem for allergies, drought, a number of things.
The most prolific pollinator in the fall season is the ragweed pollen. And while it will get knocked back a bit if we get some cooler temperatures, it really takes a freeze to kill that off.
And we were just talking about that.
We were.
Freezes don't happen really in October.
Yeah, usually we have to wait until first or second week of December before we get our first freeze. Thankfully, the ragweed counts drop a lot by then, but it's going to be a long fall allergy season here.
We're in for it.
So what are we to do about this?
I mean, obviously taking your allergy medication is sort of the best sort of plan of action. I personally have to take some eye drops for allergy. The only symptom I really have are kind of itchy eyes, thankfully. I'm glad about that. If you do have allergy symptoms, though, and you've not gotten tested for allergies, he recommended to go get tested for those allergies. And it's a 30-minute sort of ordeal from beginning to end, and you can know exactly what you're allergic to in the air, and you can prepare that way.
And where should folks go to get more on the article that you've written?
HoustonChronicle.com. We'll have that up shortly.
There it is, HoustonChronicle.com. Justin Ballard, thanks so much for joining us again. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you for having me.